Questions, your most powerful recruiting tools. Controversial Irish writer and poet Oscar Wilde once wrote, "While questions are never discreet, answers sometimes are." Professional reps learn and apply a secret that amateurs never learn or never fully understand. The secret to successful presentation dialogue is not remembering what to say, but remembering what to ask. Questions are, for a number of reasons, literally unbeatable. First of all, questions focus on the prospect, not you, or not on your offer. Questions take the pressure off you and put it on the prospect where it belongs. Secondly, questions uncover pain. There is only one reason you will ever recruit anyone, and that reason lies in your ability to reduce a prospect's pain. You cannot reduce pain if you don't know what it is. Prospects will tell you if you ask correctly. Thirdly, questions represent positive, caring, psychological handling. When prospects speak and you follow with a question, prospects know they are being heard and feel important. Being listened to meets prospect needs for self-importance and individuality. Fourth, questions are far more conversational, natural, and less manipulative than a prepared presentation. Prospects most often expect smooth-talking reps with flashy bells and whistles presentations. Prospects are pleasantly surprised by a rep who instead shows interest in their problems and concerns. Fifth, questions relieve your pressure and stress. When you approach a prospect with memorized scripts, you're naturally worried about remembering what to say and when just to say it. Rather than memorizing scripts and specific counters to objections, just listen attentively and ask questions about what you hear. Give the prospect the lead. Sixth, questions ensure that the prospect does most of the talking. The general rule of thumb is 70-30. Successful reps talk only 30% of the time and give prospects 70% of the airwaves. Seventh, questions give you a chance to think. While a prospect is talking, you have an opportunity to think, to gather your thoughts, and to chart your next steps in dialogue. The words you can currently hear from the prospect also tell you what you need to do to recruit this candidate or to dismiss them. Eighth, questions minimize the risk that you'll say something you might later regret. When you're not talking, you can't say anything stupid. It's impossible. Ninth, and finally, questions commit the prospect. People feel manipulated when they're sold something. When it's their choice, prospects remain committed to a decision. When they conclude that they want to move forward because of how they answer your questions, prospects feel ownership of their decisions and are less likely to back away from them. As best as you can, answer nearly every question with a question or end every answer with another qualifying question. Try to perceive the candidate's intent behind the questions they ask you. Try not to answer automatically. Avoid the self-stress of habitually answering directly and right away. The reason this is done is because unless we understand the intent of the questions, i.e. the real underlying questions, we run risks of providing answers, one, of decreased relevance and interest to the prospect, two, that can box us into unfavorable and less workable proposal positions. By light professional interrogation, if you will, you can make the questions you ask prospective clients more powerful, more engaging, and therefore more effective. Asking better questions will motivate your prospect to do the talking. This requires fighting your instincts to demonstrate all of the knowledge you have about your offer. Instead of boring a prospect, get them to open up to you by asking intelligent questions and then listening to their answers. It's been said that you can make a more significant impression on another person in 10 minutes if you show interest in that person than if you were to spend 6 months talking about yourself. Asking good questions makes your prospects feel involved, important, and engaged. Next, asking better questions will differentiate you from competing offers. Most conventionally trained reps do not know how or are afraid to ask good questions. If you learn how to ask good questions, you automatically set yourself apart from other lesser reps. Your asking better questions next demonstrates empathy and understanding for your prospect. By establishing yourself as someone who will listen to problems and frustrations, your clients will be eager to talk with you. In our society, people tend to be impatient when discussing problems and often want to jump to the solutions. Your prospective clients, however, need first to recognize and understand their problems before they will accept need for assistance. By creating an environment where a client feels you understand, you will gain access to information regarding their base motivations to which you would not otherwise be anywhere close to privy. By asking better questions of your prospect, you will facilitate a prospective client's awareness of his needs and help him to come to his own conclusions, particularly as they relate to your offer. Even if it seems more than clear to you, you cannot tell your prospect what his problems are, unless, of course, you want to terminally irritate him. You need to assist him with reasoning on matters of consequence and help him through the process of discovering the problems for himself. And then he'll be more inclined to also look to you for the solution. Even prospects who are aware of their problems need you to ask good questions in order to bring their pain to the surface, if for no other reason than to confirm them as problems well beyond the perception of just the prospect himself. The frustration and other feelings that go along with the problems they have encountered will motivate them to act, and all the more so if you pinpoint those concerns by asking good relevant questions. Questions can be crafted and used to prompt a prospect to recognize the importance of taking immediate action. Once a prospect has uncovered their problems, they will not be hesitant to talk about possible solutions. In fact, they'll often be eager to discuss how you can help because they will have realized the need to rectify the situation. Questions can also be used to help you discover how a particular client makes a sign-on decision. This includes identifying others in the client's decision chain. All of the best questioning techniques will not do you any good if you are talking to the wrong person or not talking to all of them. In summary, by asking good questions and allowing your prospects to openly dialogue, you will be able to find out the prospect's pain and most acute motivations. You'll be enabled to bring to the forefront any potential obstacles that might hinder your clients doing business with you. Asking good questions lets you in on the concerns of a prospect, how he came to be talking to you, if he's worthy of your doing business with him, and showcase his primary reservations about moving ahead. As a new lead agent, it's in our best long-term mutual interest to provide you with the techniques and new types of questions that not only inspire constructive conversation, but also make you stand out from the traditionally trained crowd. Prospects overwhelmingly respond to reps who express an interest in their needs and their lives. Prospect needs are best met when you cultivate and establish real and strong relationships. This happens only when you listen to your prospects and really hear what they have to say. As we continue our consideration of questions as your most powerful recruiting tools, we'll next consider 8 types of questions and when to ask them. Professional service technicians typically have multiple variations of the same tool in their toolkits. For example, they might have a wide selection of drill bits, screwdriver heads, wrenches, and saw blades. Each variant has its own unique characteristics appropriate for a given situation. Similarly, professional representatives require a variety of questions depending on the specific situation. Put these 8 types of questions in your toolkit. First up, of course, is the broad open-ended question. Use it to break the ice and get the prospect talking. An example would be, what are you looking for in your next career situation? Second is the factual probe. Follow up the prospect statement to get specific, detailed information of a factual nature. Factual probes are effective for qualifying the prospect. As an example, what problems have you encountered with other opportunities? When did those occur? Third is the attitudinal probe. Follow up a prospect statement to learn their attitudes and feelings. Attitudinal probes are effective for uncovering underlying emotions. For example, how did you feel about the outcome of that situation? Fourth is the mirror probe. The mirror probe is used by restating the prospect's preceding comment with your voice trailing up at the end, implying a question. For example, the prospect says, "All of the situations I've looked at so far don't pay enough." And the lead agent replies, "All the situations don't pay enough?" Your repeating the prospect statement validates it, and your implied question subtly probes for further information. This is a great way to get more data without coming off as aggressive. The fifth type of question you can use is the summary question. You use it by summarizing what you just heard to validate your understanding. This is a powerful technique used to move from one stage of the dialogue to another. Example, are you saying that you're looking for a company with a great track record and one which will enable you to roundly outperform what you've made to date? Next up is the Columbo question. Columbo questions allow you to suggest that the prospect is contradictory or otherwise deceiving you without saying so directly. You convey puzzlement and bewilderment while asking the person to help you to understand the apparent contradiction. For example, earlier you said you want to move forward yet this week. Now I hear you saying you want to wait. I'm confused. What am I missing? C.A.R.S goes more into Columbo questions a bit later. Reverse questions get prospects to overcome their own objections. This question turns the tables by forcing prospects to change perspective and become your partners. The question reverses the prospect from an offensive position to a defensive position. As an example, your prospect says, "I can't understand why your clients would ever pay your fees." You reply, "You're right, our fees are high. Why do you think we have the success we have with our prices so high?" No matter how prospects answer this question, they will overcome the objection for you. Lastly is the implication question. As you near the close of your presentation dialogue, the implication question confirms the benefits of your offer through a question rather than an assertion. Example, if Cash Card could double your current income within 1 year, and I'm not saying that's possible, but if it could, what would happen next? Questions that probe for pain. Now, once a prospect feels comfortable with you and confident in your ability to help them, they'll speak more freely about their needs. As their tongues loosen and their guards lower, they'll grow more candid about the problems you can help them solve. Use questions to pinpoint their troubles and woes. Use the pain-evoking questions most in line with your own style and more likely to yield fruitful answers with your prospects. The first group of questions works to keep prospects talking and connect them with the reality of their pain. To keep prospects talking, you can ask, and what happened next? And what else? How many? Can you tell me more about that? How did that work? How do you feel about that? What tells you that? What makes you sure? How do you measure that? The second group of questions reveals the extent and the nature of the prospect's pain. To determine pain and its extent, you can ask a wide range of questions, including, is there anything about your current situation you don't like? Does that mean you're completely happy with your current situation? In the consumer finance industry, we've noticed problems with general distrust or another difficulty of probable relevance to your prospect. Have you noticed or personally experienced any problems of this nature? Which of those concerns you? If you could change one thing, what would it be? And you've never had a problem with a difficulty or something common to your prospects? You've never had that problem? Can you be more specific about the problem that they just alluded to? What recent example of that comes to mind? How long has that been a problem? What have you tried in the past to fix that problem? What's worked for you and what hasn't? Why do you think you got the results you did? Is it getting worse or better, and how fast? How much do you figure that has cost you? And what is the most recent action you've taken to correct it? What do you hope to achieve with a solution that you don't have right now? If you could wave a magic wand in this situation, what would it do? What personal distress is this causing you? How much are you willing to invest to solve the problem? How do you see me helping you? In addition to questions that probe for pain, you can use expansion and comparison questions. Expansion questions begin with phrases such as, describe for me, share with me, explain, walk me through, tell me. With a little forethought, typical questions can be changed into comparison questions. Asked ordinarily, the question, what are your goals, can be asked as a time example comparison, as in, share with me what you hope to accomplish in the next 12 months. How does this compare with where you are today? Or, share with me what you hope to accomplish in the next 12 months compared with where you were 1 year ago. Asked ordinarily, the question, what do you like about your current situation, can instead be posed as an alternative choice comparison question. As in, describe for me what you like about your current situation and your comfort levels with it, versus what you do not like or where you're not comfortable. Asked typically, the decision maker question, who makes the decisions here, can better be asked as a comparison question, as in, describe for me the decision process you'll be needing to go through, or tell me how your spouse or partner is likely to perceive what we offer.